Hello, how's it going? It is Friday, July 14th, 2017, and I really don't want to record this today. Just in a weird mental place today, and I just wasn't really feeling it, but I realized that that's exactly why I have to push forward and do it. So, I today want to talk about tone of conversation. I don't know. This is just the thing that's most recently on my brain, and I need to talk about stuff. So here's the deal. A very good friend of mine shared something today, a picture from the Dalai Lama, I believe, that says it's be kind whenever possible. It is always possible. And I agree with this, actually. I try very hard to always start conversations from a place of kindness and understanding. The Green brothers, Hank and John Green, one of their phrases that they use all the time is to imagine others complexly. And that's important, right? Like, we have to remember that people are more complex than just the one aspect of them that you are thinking of at any given moment. Everybody has their own kind of thing that they're going through at any moment. And so therefore it's important to remember that and to not just boil people down to a single note that you have noticed at any given moment. So anyway, the reason that all of this kind of comes together in my brain right now is because I saw a thing about tone policing today. And it was in the context of feminism and modern feminism. And I'm not interested in talking about that right now because my feelings on feminism are a whole different topic. And maybe someday I'll be brave enough to talk about that. But the general gist of the conversation was that you shouldn't have to police your tone because if you can't handle the truth, then too bad for you. And I understand that concept actually very well because I think that it is important that we are, telling the truth and just saying things even when they are uncomfortable sometimes. But I also think that it's important that we try and be kind whenever possible. And there is no reason, I don't know, maybe there is a reason, I just don't know what it is, to be a dick. Like, just don't be a dick, right? Like Wheaton's Law. You can get your point across and make valid points about things that are important to you and things that need to be said without being a jerk. And we're so obsessed nowadays with having an opinion and being witty and being, thought of. You can express something in a witty way. It makes you come off like you are the smartest person in the room, and everybody wants to be the smartest person in the room. So we use snark and we use sarcasm and we use clever wordplay to make points on things instead of just talking and instead of just treating people like we would want to be treated. And that bothers me a lot. Like, I'm not saying that between friends, a little bit of sarcasm and snark and whatever isn't fun. It absolutely is, right? But that's between friends. When you're just starting the conversation out in the world and you're trying to be clever in order to, get signal boosted, right? Because if you're clever, then people will think, ooh, that's clever, I will share that. Then you end up with this situation where you prioritized it wrong. You're not looking at making things better. You're not looking at engaging in constructive dialogue between people. You're just interested in making sure that you are heard, not that we are talking. And I think that's a really, really big problem in the world. But especially, I think maybe that might be part of where this huge rift in the U.S. has happened lately as well. We're obsessed with this idea of being heard. We're not listening. Everybody's talking, nobody's listening. And I mean, and please, I am aware of the irony of this, right? Because I'm literally doing that, I guess, when I record, because I'm not talking to someone else live that can respond at that moment. But I do want you to respond, right? Like, I mean, if you're watching this, I want you in the comments to say what you think about stuff that I post on any of these. I said that in the very beginning of this little experiment, and I mean it. So if you have an opinion, please let me know. I really do want to know. But anyway, so what it comes down to is I think that we are forgetting to be kind, and we're forgetting to imagine others complexly in our effort to be right. We're so interested in being right and being heard and people agreeing with us in expanding our echo chamber, that we're not interested in actually talking. And this is I'm really starting to think that this is one of the biggest hurdles that we as a world are going to have to get past, especially in the age of social media and online discourse. I think we need to figure out a way to encourage people or to reward people. I don't even know if that's a logical conclusion, but something where there's a reason to be kind, and there are maybe, and reward people for kindness and for empathy and for trying to see things from all points of view, rather than just rewarding people for being clever and getting that little extra thumbs up. And what it comes down to in part is that we have figured out a way. I was actually talking with my friend Jamie about this yesterday. We figured out everything can be kept score now. Like if I tweet something on my Twitter account and it engages with a lot of people, I get that little tiny micro rush of seeing people liking what I wrote. And that it creates a numerical metric that we can use to validate what it is that we say. And it's really hard to avoid that, right? Like we all want thumbs on, we want that like button hit, and we're keeping score. We're looking at the numbers, and those numbers matter to us. And that's not good. I mean, it's understandable, because we all have, in some aspect or another, this need to be validated by those that we respect, right? You always want respect from those that you respect. But now we've created this false dichotomy where everyone has a voice and everyone deserves respect, and everyone does deserve respect, but everybody's opinions are equally valid, and that's just not true. It's not true. Not every opinion, I mean, you're allowed to have it, but that doesn't make it valid. I just want people to be kinder and to approach things from less of a how many buttons can I push today, and more of a how can I help? How can I make the world better? I don't know. I feel super rambly about this. And partially it's because this is uncomfortable territory for me, because I never know. Like, I feel like this is the kind of conversation where the backlash is almost inevitable. At some point, somebody is going to take this sort of thing personally, and someone is going to be upset. And I don't want that, right? Like, the point of this blog is for me to kind of get things out of my head and put words to things that I maybe am struggling with. And this is a big one for me. Like, I'm a game nerd, right? Like, that's my thing. And part of the thing about every game is keeping score. There's games have winners and losers in general. Sometimes it's the whole table, but in general, you're trying to do the best that you can. And so I am particularly susceptible to this whole keeping score thing, right? Like, I catch myself caring about my Twitter follower count, and I catch myself caring about how many likes things get, and I'm always a little bit extra. It's always that little extra bump when someone, comments on one of these videos or whatever, and for some reason it matters, and it shouldn't. That's not the point of this. I even said in the first vlog that I'm not doing this for anybody but me, but I can't help it. Oh, it's part. I mean, I can help it. I can work to counteract that, but everybody, I guess in my mind, everybody wants that little rush, and I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's something that should be the end all be all of discourse. I don't think it's something that we should be focusing on while we're talking. I think it's something that we should strive maybe against sometimes. I don't know. Yeah, so that's the primary thing that I want to talk about. And I don't really know where I want to go there. This all dovetails into a million different topics for me as well, right? Like why I consider myself a moderate and why I find that people on both ends of the political spectrum make me crazy, because I think that I think the truth is usually is almost always in the middle somewhere. There's, his opinion, her opinion, and the truth is, I think, the joke or something like that. I think the truth is usually somewhere between the two extremes. And this is why, and when you label yourself a moderate, people hear that, especially people on the ends, and they translate that to coward, right? That the idea is that you're a coward if you're a moderate because you're not taking a stand for anything and you're trying to compromise. And I would argue that I am taking a stand. I think it's harder to be a moderate right now in 2017 in the United States than it is to be on one of the extremes, because on the extremes it's easy to find an echo chamber, and a moderate, you're deliberately not trying to find an echo chamber, and you're trying to hear opinions and find the truth that lies between. So I don't know that I'm definitely not trying to paint myself as any kind of I've got the right idea and you guys are all dumb. I don't mean it that way at all. People have their opinions for their reasons. And if I'm going to follow what I preach, I have to imagine others complexly. Just your political opinion doesn't define who you are. It's easy to reduce people to that. It's very easy to do that. But it's not fair and it's not true. So imagining others complexly. Thank you, Hank and John Green. I think that that's maybe the best piece of advice that the world could hear right now is, for like the 5 people that'll watch this, think about it, right? Like, I mean, maybe that's something that would help you. I don't know. But anyway, it helps me. And I guess that's good enough for today. So thanks if you watch. Let me know. I really do want to know what you think about kindness and being a moderate and imagining others complexly. I do want to know what you think about this stuff. I want to know because there's cognitive load, right? Like we don't have all the energy in the world to spend thinking about everything. So where are your shortcuts? Where is the stuff that you feel comfortable drawing lines, or do you feel comfortable ever drawing lines? And if you don't feel comfortable, do you still do it? Because I think a lot of us do. And how do you feel? Do you catch yourself hoping for likes and retweets and shares and stuff like that? Is that a thing for you? I'm curious. So like I said, I know it is for me. It's something I work to avoid. So anyway, I really do hope that you have a fantastic weekend. I'm not sure I'll have any time to do any of these over the weekend, but I'm doing more of them than I thought I was going to during the week, so I guess I'll take it. We'll see. Anyway, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you when we talk to you. Take care.